And just to say, I very much welcome that the Dáil has allocated time here today to address the unfolding horror that is Palestine and the terror that Palestine is facing in the face of the violence by Israel. It's been several years since I visited the Gaza Strip, Palestine, but the destruction I witnessed then will never leave me. I remember Gaza is actually, it's an open-air prison. You have the wall there that will, stops any movement, people leaving, coming or going. You have the sea. You can only go a few kilometres out to sea. And, of course, you have the F-16 fighter jets flying overhead regularly, the bombs regularly being dropped on sites in the Gaza Strip. And I was recently invited to take part in a conference in Ramallah on the great crime of Nakba. And Minister, there's one simple reason why I can't attend, and it's because the apartheid government of Israel has barred me from entering Israel or Palestine. And the reason I'm barred is because I was, along with other activists, I was part of a flotilla that was bringing humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. And during that journey, when we were on the boat, I was taken hostage along with the other activists. We were taken hostage by the Israeli Special Forces, and we were held at gunpoint for a number of hours until we were brought to the port of Ashdod and then imprisoned for over a week by the apartheid Israelis. So I'd ask you, does that sound like a vibrant democracy? And how does this government not challenge the President of the EU Commission's description of the Palestinian land, the state of Palestine, when they say it was a vibrant, when Ursula von der Leyen described it as a vibrant democracy that made the desert bloom? It's hard to understand how anybody could stand over that. For an EU official to use such a racist trope and face no repercussions shows all that is wrong with the Commission. While I welcome the Dáil time, as I said, allocated to address the brutal system of apartheid that Israel is inflicting on the Palestinian people, it does deeply frustrate me that, despite how vocal dozens of members of the Dáil across all parties have been on these crimes, we see no action from this government, bar the odd statement of condemnation. And the Taoiseach mentioned about maintaining a consensus. The difficulty is that consensus is a consensus that believes that Israel is good and Palestinians are bad, that Israel is a friendly state to the EU, and that Palestinians and the state of Palestine is not worth backing. That's the reality. The EU, the consensus in the EU, believes that Palestine and Palestinians are not worth taking a stand for human rights. The human rights breaches that are made daily and weekly on behalf of you have the Israeli minister, Ben Gvir. He is a racist. He is encouraging the settlers to inflict more and more violence on Palestinians. What will it take for this government to use its position in Europe and say enough is enough? That it's time to stop arming and empowering an apartheid government. The EU Commission views Israel as a friend and an ally, and that's the consensus. And Ireland needs to say Israel is not a friend. It is not an ally. And we have to tell them and tell the EU that we are going to take an independent stand, that we are not going to go along with the consensus anymore. Perhaps it's time to decommission, time that the Commission did what any decent friend would do and tell apartheid Israel some home truths. Tell them that Israel is an apartheid state, that the EU don't want to be friends with a government built on racism and hatred, that the EU won't be friends or allies with a government built on a brutal system of apartheid. And it's time to stop this brutality and to start treating Palestinians as equals. Carmag.